but to you yourself, those things don't really work well. And I want you to pick 3 of those things. And if you have no such things, if you consider the person to be perfect, now this is a different thing that we will talk about later, because honestly, if you consider the person to be completely perfect and without any faults, and there was nothing that irritated you about that person, then there are basically 2 options. Either you weren't really in love with that person, but you were in love with a generic image of that person, a generic image of love even, and just projected that feeling to that person, and we will talk about that later. Or you are still in that chemical phase, where you look at the person and do not see their faults, instead of the deep love, where you see the person, you see their faults, but you love them despite their faults. So find those 3 faults, 3 problems with the person, and when you find them, I want you to consider how they could grow over the next, let's say, 5, 10 and 15 years. So let me write that down. Five, 10 and 15 years. So 3 faults. So fault number 1, or fault A, fault B and fault C. And again, after 10 years, A, B and C, and after 15 years. Find those things, and after you considered how those traits could develop, really concentrate on how they could go even worse. So if the person is a bit too talkative now, then imagine that in 5 years they would become extremely talkative, that you would call them just to ask to whether you have left your keys at home, and you would spend an hour on the phone because they would just keep on jabbing and jabbing and jabbing, and really you couldn't just turn the phone off because they would feel hurt by it. And then in 10 years, it really wouldn't be enough to just the hour on the phone, because every day when you come home, you would just spend 2 or 3 hours listening to them jabbering about, no matter what the situation is. No matter how tired you are, you would still need to experience that. In 15 years, it would go so bad that, honestly, they couldn't stop jabbering about and talking on a bloody funeral. I mean, no matter what happened, they would just keep on talking and talking and talking and talking, and it would be horribly tedious and troublesome. If they made you jealous, then in 5 years they might start openly flirting with other people in front of you without any shame whatsoever. 10 years, and now you're catching strangers in your bed and they're just feeling very comfortable. And in 15 years, you kind of become the person that your partner is having the least sex in your town. So really you have to make those things develop very much. If the person tends to disappear for an hour or 2 every couple of days, and you know some people who do that, then in 5 years they might start disappearing for a day. And in 15 years they might actually be gone for a week or a month without any explanation, with your kids asking, Daddy, where has Mommy gone to? Or Mommy, where's Daddy? And they just come back after a month as if nothing has happened. So really, the harder you make those traits, the more you develop them into something that really hurts, the better. And really spend some time on developing those 9 situations. So trait number 1, or trait A, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years. Trait number 2, or B, 5, 10, 15. Trait C, 5, 10, 15. Sit down now, stop the video, consider this. Really put some time into developing those scenarios. And I want you to develop a scenario in which you yourself experience the brunt of that problem, the real hit of the problem just gets to you. So if they have been gone for a month now, then that's the moment where they come back and you are worried about